This just in. Rotten Mornings will not be played today. Instead, it will be replaced with another episode of Mourning Friends.
I hate to interrupt this program, sir, but this just in. A dog eating a shark steals
Oh my
baby.
god, breaking news just now at this top hour. Today's episode will not be seen and will be instead
More breaking news! Ice cream cone in back pocket.
Breaking news!
Baby.
Breaking news!
The baby is dead, everyone!
Breaking news! Grim has left the show. Oh, what a
More breaking news!
story.
Matt has worms! Have an ulcer there, you bitch! Oh, Matt, pass me the binoculars!
Oh,
Binoculars!
Here you go, here, binoculars.
You made toilet paper roll binoculars?
Yeah, but if you look
How
through
am I
them,
gonna
it looks
see?
like...
Look over there, though, near the watering hole.
I don't see anything.
What is that grazing in the grass? Look.
A bird? I don't know, there's fucking
No.
birds everywhere.
Fucking fix your face, bitch. That's the podcast.
Oh my god, it's the podcast. We've got to catch it.
We gotta go get it right now.
We're gonna go get the podcast.
Hurry,
We're gonna
it's
bring
running.
it to you guys.
It's running.
Oh
my god,
falling.
it shit itself.
Oh
What
my
is
god,
happening?
I'm feeling it. Shit.
Oh my god, a jaguar's after it.
A
We
jaguar?
gotta save it.
What the fuck is a jaguar?
A jaguar.
A jaguar?
Jaguar?
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Okay. Birds. The year is 3072 AD. The world has been pillaged by darkness. In the horizon, the monoliths burn and rot.
How are we still alive?
We have to narrate this apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The cars burn slowly as people moan in the distance.
Everyone has syphilis,
Everyone is syphilis-ridden.
and there's no cure.
No cure for syphilis in the future.
And I have all the toe beans.
This is Rotten Metro 304452.
That's not what you said.
It is.
Okay,
This is Mourning Friends with Rotten.
you're a bitch.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Mourning Friends with Rotten. I'm Matt.
I'm Grim.
I'm Carrie.
That's right, and we have a very special guest with us today, guys. I'm trying to think back to when I first became aware. I think he was doing his thirst trap with the skull face on, and he popped up in our feeds. And I had noticed a couple of times from being a Scurryface rep that I saw him pop up on Scurryface a couple of times. And when we finally met him, just a fucking pleasure to hang out with. I am, of course, talking about... Should I call you Evan or Mannix?
Evan is fine. That's
All
what
right,
most
this is
people do.
Evan Webb, everybody. Evan Webb.
Evan Webb! Glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
And it looks like you're all
Finally.
chained up too, so
Yeah.
don't know what's going on here. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
No, we had no part in this. And I am not abusive.
You got one on too. What are you talking about?
I don't have chains on me.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
fine.
start off with a question that everybody wants to know. What is ROTN?
Should we start with Grim locked us outside?
Yeah, so Grim locked us outside.
Okay,
the
why
other
did I
day.
lock you guys outside?
Because
I mean, I will say Evan just kind of got roped into that, but you know that was because of Carrie.
No, we walked outside and we wanted to talk to Grim after we've got this card in the mail about Easter Sunday. We wanted to give Grim this pamphlet that we found, and we gave it to her, and we got locked outside.
Oh, Carrie wanted to be an annoying little shit and be a little brat and annoy the fuck out of me. So I was like, all right, bye. Get out of here.
It was worth it, and I would do it all over again, and probably will this Sunday.
And I'll lock you out again.
Okay, and yada yada yada. What is
And then-
RO?
after that, we decided to leave. So we went to Magic City Conjure, and then once we got there, we were like, okay, we're going to Canada. I'm leaving ROTN, and since you haven't been inducted yet, it's okay. We're gonna go start our own sex cult, and it is called ROTN. ROTN. You can sign up under the Facebook post on my profile, and you get a free chain.
You're a free chain.
And who's creating these chains?
Evan is.
Yeah, yes, I am creating. Crap! I didn't sign up for that.
Yes, you did.
Wow, free
Alright, well,
labor.
yeah, so-
Fun group.
You know,
So
it's
now that
pretty
we've got the formalities out of the way, I want to, of course, address our guests and
Addressed or undressed?
yes,
What did you
undress
say?
our guest.
Well, he
And-
hasn't been inducted yet.
I know.
Undress for free.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Free.
But just start off by telling us sort of where you started on the journey of haunting, what was your first haunted house, and what led you to being an online personality or an online character and doing the traveling haunting.
All right, so I started haunt acting back in 2010. My mom had seen that there was a audition posted somewhere for Field of Screams in Maryland. So I went out and I auditioned for it. I got the part. My first weekend was honestly one that I tell everybody a normal actor probably would have quit on, because they put me on their hayride with no scene. I had a platform. I was supposed to be a mad scientist, so I had to speak my first night at a haunt. And they told me that I'm introducing an armadillo man, which was a full, foam latex armadillo costume. That was my creature that I created. I had no idea what I was doing. So I fucked up all night long. People were like, oh, he wasn't scary at all. And I got lucky in that Saturday night, I heard the manager talking about how they could never get somebody to play werewolves. So I was like, you know what? I volunteer to be your werewolf. And I did it for the next 3 years. So that was how I started. And then I had to take a few years off for the military. And then I came back in 2018 to Laurel's House of Horror, which is where I'm at now. And now I'm at the helm of Frantics, who is, you could call him a clown. I don't think he's a clown. He looks like one, but he's an asshole. On that's what he's created.
I love it.
I am aware that I am an asshole.
Really don't care.
Okay,
about
so
all of that, though.
So that's your haunt experience. At what point did you decide to start to pursue making an online personification and start doing original characters and stuff?
That would have been roughly 2020, I want to say. I had just started to build my own character for myself, my first one. Had a lot of time in lockdown to really iron out his details, get inside of his head, figure out what he would want to do. And I had a friend who did a weekly Instagram series where he would interview different haunt actors. So I took my character onto there, a very, very early version of him. And we did his live session, and then afterwards he was like, you should come over to my house, we're recording TikToks tonight. I had never recorded an actual TikTok up until that night, and I accidentally posted it at 4 o'clock in the morning, like an idiot. And I was like, man, this video is not going to get any views whatsoever. This is going to completely flop, whatever. I wake up the next morning and I have thousands of new followers. There's content, there's our comments, there's likes, there's stuff all over the place. I couldn't even keep up with it. And then after that, it was kind of like, all right, maybe there's a chance for me to do this thing. So I started making more videos, and the makeup changed every week because the makeup artists were like, well, I want to try this, I want to try this. And I was like, yeah, let's go for it. Fuck it, I'm down. I'm just making videos 5 at a time. And as that started to take off, when 2021 came around, I was able to then talk to other actors and other haunt owners and managers that were like, hey, yeah, we want you to come out. You look like you're doing a pretty good job. So I was like, absolutely. So I started just talking to as many people as I could, networking in every way possible, and would just continuously find ways to just slide my happy ass into a haunt wherever I fit in.
Hell yeah.
I would do stuff that didn't even fit the theme of the haunt, but I would just show up and like, yeah, this is my character, and they'd be like, dope, you're in, this is your
That's
spot.
awesome.
And I'm like, fantastic, I'm supposed to be in a doctor's like hallway and I look like me, so I don't fit in, but I'm gonna rock this for a night. And that's just what I kept doing, and thankfully it's led me to where I am now.
Nice.
Very good.
And you said now you're working at Laurel's?
Laurel's House of Horror, yeah.
Love it. So what would you say now is a big inspiration for you to keep going?
I think like the biggest thing for me is it's kind of an inward thing, and for me I never want to be exactly like everybody else. I don't like the cookie cutter design. I don't want to have the same look or the same lines, the same act that other people have. So I've just tried to continuously find little things to spice it up, find little things to say that like only I would say at a haunt. And then every time it comes to the look, I start with something relatively basic, and then I just try to add as much crap to it. If anybody saw my Frantics vest by the end of the season, I look like a lost and found. I had a hoop earring on one side, broken sunglasses on the other, shit hanging all over the place, caution tape that I had gotten from an accident scene and then picked up more at a rave that I worked, and just kept roping stuff around it over and over and over again so nobody could have that exact look. And that's what I've continuously just tried to do with all of my characters.
Okay, another more important question, something we all want to know. Are you being controlled by a tiny little alien from outer space?
If I was, I don't think I'd be able to tell you.
Are you
That's
sure?
top
Because we
secret.
might be too. That's
Well,
why
we
we
already
need to know.
talked. And Matt might have one.
Matt might, but it depends
So-
on your answer.
We gotta pop him open and see.
I'm gonna pop you open.
Well, can he go first so I can see the process? And then if he doesn't have one, I'm just gonna run.
No.
But if he does have one, then I'm safe because we found the alien.
You know, if
We
you
found the
run,
imposter among us.
we can't help but give chase.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we
I can
will
run
catch you.
fast. I can run really fast.
We can run faster.
Yes.
We'll see. I
So
saw
you
you
Sometime
wanna
Carrie
hear-
throughout
We will corner you.
You heard it here second, folks. Everyone here can run fast and
We're
have
gonna put a
aliens
portal
in their head.
inside you.
We're just gonna have
Whoa,
Animal Planet
no,
music in the background while we are running through the woods.
Inside you.
Inside you.
I have a question.
Oh boy.
Don't say oh boy.
Oh boy.
What is the hardest thing about being a haunt actor to you for people that are wanting to get into it?
Oh god.
Yeah,
I know that's tough. I know it is. Just you can pick just one.
I could pick one.
Some advice or something.
Yeah.
Some advice or something.
Oh, if it's advice, it would be learn how to pace your damn selves when you're out there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So many people get
That's a big
excited and like burn themselves out, and I get it. It can be really easy to do, especially when you're on a roll and you're getting scares left and right. Like you feel like you're Superman, but then 2 hours into the night, you just completely die out. Your voice is gone. Your legs hurt. Your arms hurt from whatever prop you're using. Just take your damn time. The good groups come in towards the end of the night,
Yes.
not
Yes.
right at the beginning. The people at the beginning have to go to bed early. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
You want to get the people that are at the end of the night where they're all, in a good mood because they ate, they got some drinks in them. They were listening to the music out in the queue line for like 3 hours waiting.
Yeah.
So of course they're in good moods
Yeah.
at this point. So that's the people you want to go after, not the people in the beginning.
I've always wanted to take some of the actors from a lower volume haunt that are like really big, explosive, like some of their key actors, and move them over to doing like 5,000 people a night. And
I can tell you nobody is ready for that. We had a night last year where we were used to having like maybe 1,000 people, 1,200 people a night, and that was like pretty good. But this was our first big Saturday. And one of our guys, Matt, and I passed each other on the outside of the haunt. He's like, yo, have you been up front yet? And I was like, no, I haven't, but I'm headed that way now. He's like, dude, it's packed. And I was like, okay, how packed is packed? He's like, there's probably 1,500 people on the queue line right now. And I was like, no fucking way, you're kidding me. I walked around, it zigzagged back and forth like 4 times, wrapped around the courtyard and was going again. I was like, oh, fuck, and I'm alone up here right now? I spent a few minutes out there and I was like, Matt, I need you. I'm all by myself. It was chaos, but like in the best way. And nobody is ever ready to face 1,500 people in one small spot and
Oh,
like
no.
be able to mentally track everything. You
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
everything.
A
There's a lot of
goes
noises.
into it, yes.
Yeah, and for me, I always had a habit of, we had a little stage out there with the DJ booth on it. I always came up with a chainsaw, so I would have it revved up as I walked down the little alleyway to get out there, because I wanted all the attention. I wanted to pull eyes on me, so I would hop on the stage, and I would just rev it and be looking around left and right, make sure everybody's looking at me. Do the whole thing where I like lick the blade and then shoot like mouth dye up in the air so it looks like I split my tongue open. And then I did that whole thing and I looked down and that's when I was like, oh shit, there really is a lot of people looking at me right now expecting me to do something. Like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, okay. I looked at the DJ and I was like, oh dude, I'm so screwed out here. He's like, yeah, good luck with that. By the way, everybody, here's one of our monsters. Like, no! You can't do this to me! He just let me rock, and then I think he started playing like some Adele music or something like that. I was like, I can't work in
He
these
really
conditions.
fucking dropped you too. I
It
got
just
him.
made it worse. I was like, you could have given me anything else. You gave me Adele.
No.
Fuck yeah, thank you. Taylor Swift would have been nicer.
Oh, God.
Like, I appreciate this. It's like, never mind, all fine. Like, fuck you. You can't do
Running
this.
around with your chainsaw to like a slow
Like, revving it up.
romance
At least when
music.
it's like a dance song, like I can rev it along like with the bass
Yeah.
or something. I had nothing. I just kept looking back and flicking them off. Fuck you,
So
bro. Yeah, I had
That's, you know,
nothing.
funny. There used to be a band called Jackal, and their lead singer would play a chainsaw for some of the songs. He would use the revving of the chainsaw like an
I
instrument.
kind of love
wow.
that.
There we go.
And they did a song called "I'm a Lumberjack Baby," and it's like, "I'm a lumberjack baby, wow 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 wow." It's so stupid.
I gotta find that, add it to the rotation.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking a lot about being a line worker. Are you primarily at this point just primarily line working?
That's when I started doing the line work last year. I had like a little taste of it here and there prior to that. But last year was the first year that we really started to raise up icon-style characters. So I got picked for one of those, and they picked me to do the clown one. Oddly enough, I enjoy clowns, but I've never thoroughly enjoyed being one.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just took everything that I did for Mannix, flipped it on its head, completed the polar opposite version of him, and I was like, okay, this is my character now. And it worked amazingly in line, a lot better than I ever thought it would, honestly. So that's what I started doing last year, and then just recently at Transworld, I got promoted to actor manager. So I'm still filling an icon slot while doing the manager thing. So I'm hardly ever going to be inside unless I'm walking through checking on all the other actors, and then I'll bounce back out and do the thing so I'm quickly able to go wherever I need to go. At least that's the plan. We'll see how well that works out when the season actually starts.
Well, aside from being very, very fast and also pacing yourself, for line acting specifically, what would you give as a tip trying to work a 1,500 person crowd?
You have to stay on your toes. You have to have, your P's and Q's separated. You got to cross your T's, dot your I's. You have to be on the ball because everybody's going to be looking at you no matter where you are. You could be halfway across the courtyard and they're still going to be like leaning over the line saying like, oh, okay, he's back there. So if you slack off for even a second, if you break character for a heartbeat, they're going to catch it. And if they're like eagle-eyed and they're big into the acting portion, they are going to just immediately be separated from the experience. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just a guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to keep your voice going. You have to keep your act going. You have to keep your energy up. Good luck with that, because once you start swirling around and you start seeing everybody and people are pulling you this way and that way for pictures, and it's this person's birthday, so you have to have something for that.
Uh-huh.
You got this person who's on her, with all of her bridesmaids out there for a bachelorette party. You're like, why the fuck are you here? Like, you gotta keep all these different things going. You have to improv like crazy. Just stay on your toes, stay moving, don't stick around in one spot, because you're going to have way too many people in that little bubble, and you have to get around to everybody to keep your act going.
Yeah, people don't see how much you put into it, or how much a haunt, or how much everything goes into one thing. There's going to be people there that come there just to heckle and pick you apart.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you have to constantly stay just like that.
Mhm.
There are no breaks.
No.
There are no breaks.
And let me tell you, I love the hecklers when they come through because, like, I had
yeah.
cut up shorts. My shoes were like old 10-year-old Converses that I put steel toes on in case I kicked anything and for whatever sliding I could do. So people would always come in there and they try to roast you left and right. They bring
Oh,
their
yes.
best jokes out. So you have to sit there and fire back real quick. And luckily I had somebody that I could spitball some off of. So her and I would be able to take like little lines and like she told somebody something, she would tell me, was like, yo, I love that. I'm using that this season. So when the opportunity came around, I fired that line off and I called her back. I was like, yo, that was dope as shit. It worked just like you said. and it was
Yes.
something easy. Like if they came up to you and they tried to insult your character, you just look at him and be like, well, you look like you don't know how to swim. And her thing was there was no comeback to it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know what I would say. Or like, you look like you don't know how to ride a bike. It's like, there is really no way to respond to that in a clever fashion because that's not an insult that you usually use on somebody. It's not like I said, oh, your mama's so fat, she this, that, and that.
Yeah.
It's like something that you make them go, what the hell did you
Well,
just
it's
say? And you
also
skirt away.
based on the way that you say it. Like, you're not telling them that they can't swim. You're not telling them that they're unable to do anything. You're telling them that they look like they're unable to do some random function. And that's like the nicest way to slam somebody, and they're just going to be like, huh? Like, you look like you couldn't even fucking knit a basket in a fucking volcano or some bullshit
Yeah,
like
you
that.
tell them to take up underwater basket weaving or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's
I always-
actually really good advice.
Yeah, and I always had like a megaphone at one point, so if somebody was really trying to call me out, I would be louder than them at all times.
Yeah.
And you can always direct it like right into their face, so they're saying like, oh, you look like you're a piece of shit. What was that? It's like right up into their face. One lady was trying to yell at me, and I was like, "Oh my God, everybody, look! It's Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory." She had like that really high pitched voice.
Oh my
God!
No!
The line starts laughing, and I just salute a little bit, and I skirt away, and I'm like, "Yep, this interaction's done."
No more talking
Completed.
for you.
Yeah, you have no comebacks. I got you.
You have dismissed him from the face of this planet.
Yep. Everybody judges you now.
Everybody's gonna be looking at you.
So if you have like one, because everybody that comes on here has like a story that stands out from them that they've told a million times, but it has something to do with something that happened to you at the haunt. What is that story for you?
Oh God, I probably have so many stuck in my head somewhere.
You gotta fish around, just pluck one.
Yeah, it's like, which one do I use? God, there's so many that I could think of. I mean, I can go with one from last season. It was when I still had the taser stick, and Matt, who plays a character called Porter, was out there with me in the queue line. It had been raining that night. Like, it was just really bad, so there wasn't too many people that showed up. We could fit everybody underneath the little overhang of the building. But there was one group of, like, I want to say they were between 10 and 15 that showed up, and we got one of them running from us. And she like ran to the very end of the courtyard, as far away from the haunt as she could. And then as she started to walk back, I had been around in the front of the line. Matt was coming around the back. So he revved his chainsaw up and just like nailed her. She was about to take off running. You could see the little hot feet going for a juke. And I heard the chainsaw rev, look up, and I was like, got it. Come running over with the taser stick. And as soon as she goes to cut right, I just zapped right towards her feet. Her body stopped moving, but her feet kept going. And she slams into the ground so hard that somebody caught it on video and then posted it on TikTok with the cartoon sounds, like the bam!
God, no.
I'm dead.
She tried to get up and like start running, so Matt like puts his hand out for her, and as soon as she reaches, he just cuts the saw towards her. She's like scrambling backwards, finds the fence, gets up and start running. And at the tail end of the video, you can hear me just like heckling the shit out of her to the rest of the line while Matt's chasing her with the chainsaw, and he gets her cornered underneath like the security guard's chair. It's like she folded up under this little school chair and is sitting under there, and he's still going, just walking over there, right next to her.
Hilarious.
That was probably one of the best ones we had from this past season.
I'm sure she's still having nightmares.
Yeah, just like
yeah.
she hears tasers and fucking shits herself.
I hope all of her friends in high school caught that video when it got posted and then just clown her for the rest of the time. It was too good. Too fucking good.
And probably got a little secret nickname to make fun of her.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Slippy? How you doing?
Slips a lot.
Slips a
She
lot.
got the happy feet.
It slips a lot. Happy feet slips a lot.
This is fucking perfect.
So, like, what's one of the, like, out of the different haunts that you've worked, what's a room that you've worked that was really memorable to you, and what was it, and what did you do in that particular room before you were working, or after you? Before you were working with lines.
Before I worked lines, I think it would probably be what we called Clown Town at Field of Screams, Maryland, because that's where I kind of was able to bring Mannix out for the first time in a very early form. Like, again, he was a clown. He was never meant to be a clown, but that was the area with the most freedom. And it was during 2020, so there was, like, everybody that was inside had to wear masks. Everybody that was outside, we were in masks, but we were able to, like, have a little more freedom of motion. So I took that role with it, and that's when I learned how to work in open space. Because the pathway to that was, like, 30 yards of where they can see you every step of the way. So it was a whole nother thing of staying in character, bouncing around. Even if you're talking to somebody else, like, you have your body gestures, like, you're being very loud and moving around and flailing your arms. Even though you guys can't see this, I'm flailing my arms.
Yes, if you could see right now, he's flailing his arms madly around.
So that's when I started picking up all of that, and I just was able to take that in so many different directions. Changing into Mannix at the next year, I didn't have a scene. I was just in the middle of a trail in a spot where I found I could hide in somebody's shadow. But because I knew how to act with people being able to walk up and see me at that point, it was like the entire act would just fire off so quickly without a hitch. And then you translate that into the line. Now I'm taking all eyes on me before I make my first move towards the line.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm just demanding the attention that a lot of people are like, okay, I don't want them to see me before I do this. I want to sneak in. I was like, no, I'm over here. Chainsaw revving up above my head. I'm right fucking here. This is where I'm hiding. Come to me.
Nice.
That's what I like now. And that's why that scene just really better than any room that I could have been in, any decorated space. Like, I've been in some great ones, but just being in the open and having to learn all of that on the fly over the season, which was already difficult enough, that was by far the best scene for me to, like, learn and grow in.
Okay, so you've mentioned Mannix, and you said when you had him in the scene, it was before he was fleshed out. I'd really like to know a little bit more about what that character, what Mannix is, sort of what influenced you to go in that direction, and what other characters do you have in your repertoire?
I would like to know which one your favorite is, too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Mannix is by far my favorite. He's my OG. He's my just drawn out creation that
We do
I
adore
got to
Mannix.
spend.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got to spend so much time just, like, living his world because of lockdown in 2020. I couldn't really do anything. My hours got cut at work. So I was just starting to create this guy, and it started out as a werewolf idea, which, until I saw the prices of the werewolf costume pieces, and I was like, yeah, nope, fuck that. Nope,
No
I'm not
shit.
dropping $33,000, like, whatever many dollars
Exactly.
into it
Exactly.
to make it look good, because I love it when werewolves look good.
Yep.
So I was looking, I was like, okay, how can I do something like this without doing this and still have fun? So I mulled over a ton of ideas, and I eventually came up with the idea of making him a familiar. So I started trying to flesh out the different ways his story could go, and I basically tied him into the Salem witch trials because I like historical tie-ins. It was something that sounded really nice. So essentially his rebirth into a human form was the dance that Abigail and the girls caught the witches doing. And then that way I could start weaving little intricacies into his story. He very much looked like a demon-esque at first. He had his sigil on his face instead of on his arms. And just over time, we started working with different looks. Me and another makeup artist who has spent a shit ton of time working with me. So, Christian, if you do fucking hear this, you are a god, my friend. Because
Christian, you are a god.
my God.
he took this look from what it was, my shitty ideas of I want this, and he was like, no, fuck that. We're doing this instead. And he dumbed it down, and then we moved it around and spaced it out into this half-skull look that we have. And if I could ever sit down and like really have like 2 hours to explain his backstory, I laid out 330 years of what that guy had been doing.
Yeah.
I love when characters are tied into anything historical, things that have actually happened. I love that so fucking much. I would love to hear it one day.
Oh, if you ever have the time, I got the time.
Got it.
He's
In
got
the
a
future,
lot.
I'm going to know about this.
So you heard that, guys. Be aware that in the future he is going to be releasing a book. That is the Book of Mannix.
Yes.
Book of Mannix.
That
Yes.
sounds perfect. I would buy that book.
There will be a
I
chapter
would
in How to
read.
Thirst Trap. So
Yeah.
maybe if I teach you, then a lot of the scare actors that picked up on what I did won't try to horribly copy it on TikTok.
So let me ask you this again. Like you said, Mannix. What are your other characters?
So my other one that I have that's still fully fleshed out is Frantics, which is the one that I'm playing at Laurel now for the most part. Mannix slides out every once in a while, but Frantics is my main one there. And then I do have a demon who I've never named. He's just the demon that showed up on my TikTok page. Everybody like loved and adored him from all that I could tell. And it was still when I had a very small following, so maybe a third of what I have now. And just everything about him clicked. He could be wacky and crazy. He could be serious. He could be romantic. He could be fucking stupid. Whatever I needed him to be, he could be. Because I always jumped off of the thing where he was just summoned yesterday.
Yeah.
So he knows nothing. So everything that he does is natural. It always works for him.
Nice.
I got to bring him out at Valentine's Day for a little bit, minus the horns. Just because it was a thing where I had a little bit of freedom because I wasn't going to be out there to start the night. It was my first time doing the managing thing. So I was like, yeah, just let's throw my demon on me and rock it. So it was the original early TikTok look with the sigil on the face, all leather, of course, because I can't get away from black leather. And just went out there and was doing the thing. And we had a group that came through that night, and they didn't know my character's name. They just called me Handsome Chainsaw Man. So there's a post on their Instagram where it's like me crouched up on the counter, and it's like, Handsome Chainsaw Man in repose. And I was like, that's my name from now on. Change everything. Handsome Chainsaw Man. That's my story. I don't need a backstory because I'm fucking handsome and I have a chainsaw.
I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, I mean, it's there and there. So.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, you like what I did there? It's good. It's good.
But nothing's dry when I'm around because I'm handsome.
So you like going to conventions. You were just
Yes.
at, I think, Katsucon? Is that how to say it?
Katsucon, yeah.
Katsucon. How was that? You were just as Deadpool.
Yes, I did Deadpool on Saturday. Deadpool is like my go-to for cosplays as far as like the anime stuff goes, because he's completely opposite from Haunting. He's funny, like he still has the funny, the quick-witted, quick jokes, kind of bounces around from place to place, but I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to make everybody laugh.
Different.
Yeah, and I think that the balance of that is what a lot of haunt characters or haunt actors don't really get. They'll take their characters to any convention and be like, oh yeah, fear me because I'm this. And it's like, if you're always trying to be scary and you don't learn that other counterpart of it, you will never take off as an actor. Like, some people can do scary all the time.
Because there's a lot of people that come through that aren't really scared, and you can entertain them in a different way.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to do that because your entire repertoire is boo, ah, boo, ah, boo, ah, you're never going to have that total package. And you can look at a lot of guys that are huge names in the industry, and they're like, oh yeah, they're scary all the time. I bet you they crack dick jokes every once in a while when they're in the queue line. You know they do, or they dance around silly.
Well, I mean, you look at like the people that I like when it comes to serial killers or killers in general in movies. It's the ones that are hilarious because it's like absurd. Like the idea itself is already absurd, but if you add absurdity to it, it does something to the psyche. Like where it's so absurd, it's back to possible again.
Right.
And I love that. I think that's fucking bad as hell. So you say you've been in it for around 12, 13 years.
Yeah, this is my 13th year.
Oh wow, 13th year.
Yeah, I'm an old
So
dog.
many 13s.
I
And
know.
yeah,
I'm an old dog in this game.
Friday the 13th.
And we first met you at in person. We first met you at My Bloody Valentine,
and
Yes.
you didn't have your glasses on.
No,
So
I was blind.
You
as
couldn't
hell.
see shit.
No.
Wait, who are you again?
So
Oh,
we'd
wait, I
come
think
and
I smell you out.
Talk to
What
him,
the
and
fuck is
he'd
wrong?
lean way the fuck in like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, dude,
'Cause
yeah.
I had the contacts in and everything, so my vision was already cut off because of those. And then I think it was random too how we met, because I remember I saw a group of people standing at the end of like the entrance. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I have nobody else around here. I'm going to go pop a scare off. And I shoot up around the corner and everybody's talking, and I stop just inside the doorway. And I'm like, okay, I got literally nobody's attention. So, oh, there's other actors in here. They don't care. And I think it was Grim who was like right next to me. And she said hi, and I looked at her, I was like, wait, I know you. You're Grim, right? She was like, yeah. I was like, we follow each other on TikTok and Instagram. I'm like, I'm Mannix. Like, I mean, Evan. You would know me as Evan. And you go, oh, fuck, yeah, that is you. And I was like, yes. And then I look over to the right, and then you've noticed me, and you were like, okay, fuck this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
go over here and say hi to you. I was like, fuck yeah. So I finally got to meet you all, except for this little ghost over here who never showed up to
Carrie
anything.
actually just got her first taste of going to Arcs
Yes.
for the Scream
About
break event.
time.
That was amazing.
Well, before, she didn't live here. We didn't get to see her as much for a while, and it
Yeah.
was sad. It was heartbreaking.
I was locked in
unless
a
it was like the
box.
haunt. She
In
would
a
come.
box,
She was
a
always
hot
there at the haunt.
box in
She
Saudi
lived near the haunt.
Arabia.
Right.
Only got out of the box for the haunt. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember that's how we met you guys for the first time. So I'll always remember that moment, because that was just like an out of nowhere, completely random shot. I could have seen you all there. I'm like, I don't want to go to that group. I'm just
Yeah.
going to go back to this way. But I just remember shooting up there, and it was like, okay, fuck yeah. I've followed you guys for like ever. I think ROTN had showed up in the lives that I was doing on like TikTok and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I never fully knew who everybody was. So getting to actually finally be able to meet you two was amazingly random of all
Makes me
the
so
things
happy.
that I could have had happen in that moment. So yeah, no, that whole weekend was a blur except for like 3 moments, and that was one of them.
That's fucking
I
awesome.
was so lost at Arcs. I had no idea what was going on. There was so many actors there that it was like tripping over each other.
Yeah.
It was just one lull moment in time where I was able to shoot up and do something stupid, and then I ran into you guys. And it
That's
was like,
fucking
fuck yeah,
awesome.
here we are.
That's fucking awesome.
We are hell.
Hey, I definitely, that was a great fucking night.
It
that night
really
was fucking
was.
awesome.
You got to see
And
some
getting
really
to see
awesome
everybody, and like me having to like walk behind Grim and be like, okay, that's so and so. And she's like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's their name. I got you. You did,
Get her
because
little
when she did
earpiece.
it with you, she did it. She knew who the fuck you were.
Yeah.
She just couldn't fucking remember who you actually were.
Yeah.
And so when she said it to you, I was like, that's Mannix. Remember, we were on his live, and he did this video, and she's like, oh fuck yeah, he's mad as fuck. Blah, blah, blah. Follow each other on TikTok, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and you, I remember you were up in the little the kitty cat area that Mike was in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I kept getting stuck up there because I'm too tall and not flexible enough to make it down safely. So I hang out at the top for the longest time, and then eventually I try to make my way down. Knew I wasn't going to make it gracefully, so I just turned it into a whole bit. Like, all right, here we go. I got this. No, I don't got this. I fall like straight through the hole, end up on my shoulders somehow. I keep trying to find my way out. I kept getting lost in which hole led out and which one was just a circle. So that got annoying. But yeah, that's where I hung out at for a lot of time. Not because I loved it there, but because I was stuck there. It was too high to jump off.
And there were so many fucking people there. And there were so many actors
So
there. There were so
many.
many people
But
there.
the majority of it was makeup and costume that I didn't recognize, so I wasn't sure what to call everybody by. And
Yeah.
now it's like, now that we've been in this a while, I pretty much got a lot of it now.
Yeah, because some people even this year went with kind of an alternative character,
Yeah.
and we're really really cautious about not like misnaming a person's character. 'Cause
Yes,
I
we
don't
like
want
to call out their
I
actual
don't want to
character
come up to
names.
somebody
Yeah.
who's got somebody else on who has multiple characters and be like, oh, you're fucking. You know, if you're Franix, I don't want to be like, Mannix, what's up, dude? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because that's, again, like, the immersion of me knowing that is just the same as the immersion of you playing that character.
And just in
Yeah.
case anything's ever changed, there's not something like very distinguishable between one and the other. A lot of times we won't even call out names. We'll just say, hey, because we don't want to ruin anything
Yeah,
for anybody.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thing is always, you can, if you see me somewhere and you don't remember the character's name, just walk up, grab my arm, and go, "Hey, asshole," and I'll be like, "Oh, fuck yeah, it's you. What's up, alright?"
Got it.
Yeah, you got me.
Noted.
Both of my characters are assholes. Frantic's is just a louder asshole than Mannix.
Well, I would easily say that there's not a lot of people that we're going to be sneaking up on. Me and Grim have a tendency to have a pretty
Loud and beat each other and
yeah.
we're just
I mean,
being
like
stupid as shit. 'cause
we
we
don't
start
go
shit.
somewhere that we don't like be the what the fuck is going on over there. So
And then there's also little Carrie, who is typically always in feral mode.
The ghost that
Right.
just kind of shows up.
yeah, the sometimes feral child.
No, she'll walk out of the door, and she just like starts getting like, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna start chewing my arm. And everybody's walking up to her like, what the fuck
I
is
can
wrong with
believe
you?
that. Yeah, I can believe that. That checks
Sometimes
out.
I like to chew your arms too, though.
That is true. And then random people's arms that
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they only scream once or twice.
Thank God I wear armor most of the time.
Yeah,
She
you're
can
gonna
chew
need a
through
piece
anything in case you
right
didn't
across
know.
your forehead.
So I
Now.
don't get another.
Hey,
She likes brains.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I did not do anything.
Just gonna
Smack
incorporate a
you.
helmet into my
Clunk.
costumes from now on.
I don't know why you're saying you need a helmet.
Mannix
That
is
has
now
nothing
an
to do with
army
me.
guy.
We'll
Do you
replay
need a
the audio
helmet?
later
Yeah.
when you can just
Go
No
back to the
audio.
replay. Let's go back to the replay.
No, there's no
Gonna call
evidence
that
of
the
anything.
chestnut video.
We're not gonna listen to this. Listen, guys, there's no evidence of anything. I did nothing. I'm innocent. You guys know this. Carrie would not hurt a fly.
So you don't know why these people are bleeding and crying and pointing at you.
Right.
That's funny, but no.
You can line that smack up with like a MLB game.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it definitely,
When Mike
it
Trout's
definitely
about to,
sounds
like,
like
hit a
the,
home
yeah,
run,
it's a
and it just
baseball
comes
hit.
in.
MLB, a mob game?
There it
back?
goes.
What's back?
MLB, the mob game. He died.
Oh, LB?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
MLB, yeah.
Not
Okay.
mob, not mob.
But
I
you
mean,
still
it would
also
work for a
smack,
mob
so I'm
game
not
because it
coming
sounded like
from-
she took a billy club to his fucking
We need
nugget
you to
and-
get rid of this guy,
Exactly.
Shay.
Take out.
Alright, boss, I got him for you.
I still claim that I'm innocent because I am. I'm innocent until proven
Literally
guilty.
Everybody listening to this
Video to
knows
come.
you are not innocent.
Video to
That
come.
is not true. You guys know I'm innocent.
I mean, she has angel wings in her closet, so, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it counts. And I have a halo. See it right
Where?
now. Right
That
there.
is not a fucking halo.
That's not a halo. You have horns holding it.
No!
See, there you
You
go.
guys
She
just
takes
don't
a
have
swing
the sight.
again.
I do
Yeah,
not
we don't
see
have
don't
the
have the
sight.
sight.
That's true.
I
That's
swing to
true.
no one.
2015 vision now. I can see a halo if it was up there.
It is a halo. It's right there.
No, that's a diamond. That's not a halo.
Yeah, that's a
That's
fucking.
that's a halo.
That's a burning cross upside
Yes.
down.
No!
He said it. Why are you hitting me?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't hit you.
Y'all
I
heard
would
that
never
sound.
hit
Y'all heard that
Reflex.
sound. I'm sure it was a crisp hit just now.
I did not hit him.
That was boom.
His
on
arm
boom.
popped. Stop blaming her.
Thank you, Grim.
Yeah, just watch
See,
the video.
guys?
The video will be going up
Shut
later,
up.
I'm sure.
My
of it.
arm's gone.
That's your own fault. You shouldn't have cut your own arm off.
Watch there be no
It's a flesh
video.
wound.
Yeah. So, you guys got anything else you want to ask Evan about?
How long does it? Yeah. For all parties
God.
involved.
How long does it for all parties involved?
Answer the question!
I'm scared.
It takes about the amount of time to lick through 4 Tootsie Pops. If you remember
3.
those old commercials.
Mhm.
Oh.
4 of those.
How many golden eggs have you hatched today? And how
Just
many
today.
times did Carrie impregnate you?
Yeah, how many times did Carrie impregnate
She
you?
tried to do it a lot of times. Let me just tell you.
Is it like a face hugger type of impregnation?
Exactly like that.
She
Like
just
something-
jumps across the room and
She-
latches onto
she
your
sits-
head and starts.
It's not
And
even
then
her.
everything pops out of
That's
your
the funny
chest.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not even her.
I didn't
She
do
just
anything.
like shoots it like Dragon Ball Z style. She just pulls it out of this putty and
She
shoots
got
it
that
at
big
you.
dick energy.
And I say, "Hami kami ha."
And it just attaches to you, and then all of a sudden you start bubbling, and then all of a sudden you have like this little fucking
Sort of like
pop
gremlins
out
coming
you.
off of you?
Yeah, but not as cool as Stripe. Like
Is
the
that
one
why
that
one
got
of your
fucked
eyes are
up in
bulging
the-
out?
Yeah.
That's exactly why. Because
Yeah,
she got me right
that's
there.
not
in the
his
side of the
eye
face.
bulging.
Oh.
That's where she fucking plugged him on
That's
the
where she
forehead.
got
I did not do that. Stop lying
Where's
on
the
me.
rest of your ear at? Carrie!
I didn't.
She did rip my earring out earlier, though.
On to another topic. So
Why
I
are you
have a
guys
question.
so rough with each other? Jesus Christ.
He abuses me. I don't abuse him.
I have not
What
hit
abused
you
me
one
earlier?
time.
Yeah, Jesus abused
Jesus,
me.
yeah, I'm so confused
Listen,
right now.
But
earlier,
grunge Jesus
he
is
tried to
always
kill
there
me.
for you.
He sat on me with his hands around my throat, and I couldn't breathe.
You asked him to do that.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Fucking liar.
He just did it.
That was one of the things that I was told, that when I eventually would hang out with all of you, because I've choked Grim before,
Yeah.
and Matt was like, yeah, you gotta make sure you choke it, but don't do it like a bitch, like do it tight. And I was
Yeah,
like,
totally did. I was like,
Yeah,
don't
like
be a
that, you
little,
gotta
don't be a
do
little
the carry
bitch
when you
about
see
it.
her.
Yeah, so in the moment, I choked Grim, and I was like, okay, I don't want to go too hard, because we are in public in the middle of Transworld, I don't want anybody to think I'm killing her.
Oh no, drop me.
Yeah.
Drop her.
So now
Drop
I know
me.
for now. So they kept telling me, like, okay, when you finally come out to the house and you hang out and you meet Carrie, it's like, you gotta choke her. She really was being choked. So I was like, okay, cool. And then we
So you
cleared
seen
that
her
up.
and you jumped on her and you choked her. No
Yeah, it
wonder
was
why
just
you're
like
missing
one
half your
shot.
ear.
Yeah. And I did it the
She had
first
no
time, and
idea.
she like laughed at me, and I was like, okay, this is some.
You
sadistic
bitch, now you're
shit.
getting it. He started throwing some smacks
So I
in.
was like, okay, maybe I didn't do it hard enough. So then, as I warmed up more, I was like, okay, I got this. I give her a countdown, and I'm like, boom, we dig in, and then it was
She
like,
likes
okay,
it
cool.
if you
yeah.
fart on your hands first.
How
Oh, I
about
didn't know
no?
that. I'll remember that one for
I
later.
am going to commit a
No!
a nothing.
Arson!
Commit a podcast!
I have a question.
Yes.
What was the best and worst part about being here?
Don't answer either of those questions correctly, or you're gonna die. Okay.
The worst
Heed
part
my warning!
was
Keep in mind his clothes are on, podcasters.
yes, okay, yeah. So if you saw the picture earlier, I do have pants on.
Yeah.
Called shorts.
Yeah, he had pants
I don't-
on.
My eyes are
I
appearing
mean,
for all of
they're
you.
both
Pants
wrapped in a
on.
blanket right now, so I really can't confirm that. But anyway,
I have
Neither one of
pants
them
on.
have pants on.
okay, that's fishnets.
That's not pants. You're missing a lot of material to have pants.
Shut up.
The best part was teaming up for ROTN.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Woo,
The rival
sex
sex
cult.
cult.
We're gonna win.
Run to
Come join
den.
our sex cult. Lots of chains and stuff.
The worst part, I don't think I have a worst part yet. We'll see.
Sadist
Yeah,
and
you
masochist
said yet.
only.
Yeah,
said yet.
yeah, we can still fuck
There's
this
still
up.
more, there's still 2
Underscore
days to
yet.
maybe add something into it. Oh, we did find some that dead raccoon the other day, so that
The
was pretty
possum.
dope. Oh, the possum, yeah.
Yes,
So
it
we
was
got to watch that.
dead for 3 weeks. We could tell based on the level of decay, based on forensics, and we looked at the insects that were on it. So it was about 2.5, 3 weeks dead. So we're gonna go back Sunday before you leave,
Yes.
and we're gonna take some bones.
Bones.
The claws are mine.
The teeth are mine, so that's okay. Compromise.
There's a bucket in the backyard, guys.
Perfect.
We're gonna get some gloves and go.
Yes.
Well,
Scavenging
so-
for bones!
If you
Oh, we
guys
found a
don't
feather.
have,
We did find a
oh
feather.
yeah, I
It was
saw
a
that
beautiful
feather in there.
feather.
Feather.
We've
Very
got to
nice
identify said
Yeah.
feather.
I think it's a hawk.
And I don't know, maybe, but it almost looked like an under feather for an owl.
Yeah, because it was only one.
Almost.
There was no other feather, so it wasn't from like a fight or anything. It must have just came out.
Yeah.
It could be hawk. Who
So,
knows?
y'all got anything else you wish to ask Evan?
At this point in time, all of my answers remain anonymous.
Okay. You want to tell the audience where they can find you, your socials, your links, anything that you're
And
involved
the best
with?
way to reach you.
Yes.
Yeah, so my socials are very easy. They're both the same thing. It's haunts or be haunted. No underscores, no spaces.
All one word.
All one word. Everything is in there. It's Instagram and on TikTok. Because I used to have separate names, and I realized when you try to make a business card with too many things on it, it mucks it up. So they're both the same now. So you can definitely find me on there. Instagram is the easiest place to find me and message me. I swear I'm going to try to get back to all of you if I remember. Because I have messages sitting in there for days because I don't remember. But that's probably the easiest spot to find me. And you can catch me this season if you're in Maryland at Laurel's House of Horror. Just listen for the asshole with a chainsaw.
Yes,
The
again, that
handsome
is
asshole with the chainsaw.
Yes.
the best way to reach him is on Instagram, and you can find him on his socials, Haunt or Be Haunted, all together.
And he's not wearing pants on them, so go follow.
He doesn't have pants on right now.
Go check out this pantsless man.
He has
In all
pants
fairness,
on.
a lot of my videos are shot from the waist up, so I could not have pants on.
Could
That's
not,
up to what
yeah,
you all want to
He's
believe.
not wearing pants.
I can't give that away for free. But if you want to pay $4.99 to my made-up OnlyFans, then you can come and see me without my pants on. It
Where
doesn't
are your
exist.
pants?
It doesn't exist. Don't go looking on it for me.
ROTN at OnlyFans.
And a side note, Carrie chewed the pants off.
Yeah.
They were edible pants. Yes, they were. And I wore them for 3 weeks before she did.
They taste like blood.
And fruit roll-up. Is what I was told.
Fruit roll-up and blood mixed together.
What we're going to do now is a little bit different than we normally do on this. We have requested that you pick a movie for us to watch, and we will do a movie review of it.
Don't let it suck, or I'm
the
going to
fact-
fucking murder
It
you.
won't
So-
suck.
Yay!
Because of that, I would love to go ahead and hear what movie we will be watching this afternoon.
Well, it's hard to pick a movie because it might not be on that site.
Oh, I can find it.
Okay.
I can
I'm
find it.
gonna
Okay.
regret this one. So I went through a lot of choices. Like when you guys first told me, like, oh yeah, you can pick. You're gonna be the guest. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta pick a good one. So I went through like the Underworlds, the Resident Evils. Van Helsing was like one of my original favorites. You guys
All
just
of these
watched
are
Cabin in the
good.
Woods, so that would have been my pick. But when I circled back to it, I was like, Dog Soldiers.
Okay, Dog
That has
Soldiers.
to
I've never
be
heard of
one.
that.
Never seen it.
It's probably
Dog
Dog Soldiers
one of
is
the
a
best
very
werewolf
good
movies
werewolf
I've
movie.
ever
All right,
seen.
well, this is going to pop Carrie and I's cherry.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Oh
my
Now,
god!
Cherry juice everywhere.
Dog Soldiers was a
Aren't you
movie
excited?
that
Kinda.
came out when there was a while when sci-fi was making really good horror flicks. They made probably about 6 or 7 back to back, and it was before Shudder and all those things existed. So they were letting different indie directors direct films and go direct, like come out directly on sci-fi, which is where you get like Sharknado and stuff like that as well. But Dog Soldiers came out before they started leaning heavy into the more cheesier movies. And there was another one that came out right before Dog Soldiers that was another sci-fi movie that was perfect. It was so good. But Dog Soldiers is a really good one. So, yeah, I'm stoked about watching this movie. So, yeah, guys, coming up after the break, our review for Puppy Power. Dog Soldiers.
Puppy.
Wait, give me your best
Paw
wolf house. We
Patrol.
have to go into this with positive energy. Best wolf house, go. That's one. All the dogs in this neighborhood hate us now.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
We gotta go pee on all the trees.
Right now?
Right
I
now.
think
let's
there might
go.
be a fire hydrant down the street. You can continue
I've
from
peed on
from
that one
Trent's
so
Road.
many times.
Okay, true. That's
She
your
wants a
territory.
new one.
Carrie came over there and shit on it while I was trying to pee on it.
All right,
I don't know how
guys.
that
So,
I wanted to leave you a surprise.
coming up, the review for Doggy Soldiers. Coming right up after the break.
We're losing our virginities.
Yep.
We
You
gotta
guys,
go. We gotta go hump something.
Stay
Let's go up
rotten,
the fire
and
hydrant.
we will
Sex
see you
cult.
in the
We're
Not a sex cult. Not a
We're
sex
a
cult.
dog
ROTN
cult.
is.
Stay rotten. Stay rotten. Stay rotten. And now our famous movie review. All right, guys.
Is the microphone on?
Yes, the microphone.
Are
is
you
definitely-
sure for
I
this
am
crap, now I
100%
have to go to the bathroom.
sure. Oh wow.
I'm sorry, I can't help
We
it.
literally waited. I made sure that you said that she specifically said she was ready. So okay, guys.
Good dog.
We just
I'm a cat.
watched Dog Soldiers because Evan that was the movie that he referenced for us to watch, and we watched Dog
I
Soldiers.
liked it until he pissed me off, and now I don't like it anymore because he chose it. I'm just kidding. It was really good.
It's got your boy in it. You'll be fine.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of liquid. So. Ba-jing, jing.
That's
Okay.
not-
Shush. Can I talk about my boy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, guys. So Cooper in this movie, I guess you could say he's the main guy. He was in Grey's Anatomy, and he also played in the Army in that show, so this was very awesome. I kept having flashbacks to it, and he was always one of my favorites. He played Dr. Owen Hunt, so if you've seen Grey's Anatomy and you liked Owen Hunt, you would love this movie because he does a kick-ass job like he did in the show.
His name is Kevin McKidd.
I love him. I love you, Kevin McKidd.
And the premise of this movie is where a crap ton of guys pretend to be Goldilocks, break into a cottage, eat all their porridge, sleep in their beds, and fuck shit up.
It is literally the Three Bears.
And they leave a bad review of their stay at this cottage.
Yeah.
Only one of them makes it out.
It's the Three Bears and the horrible reviewers.
Well, yeah, that matters.
Yeah, sounds kind of okay.
So like first by going around and getting your like personal like. So what did you think of the movie as a whole?
So as far as camera work and like you said, the quality of the footage, I wanted a little bit more, but I also liked the graininess of it and the detail and how, oh God, this is so fucking gory. I like the death count. I like the gore. I like the werewolf look. And really, it was really good. Well executed. But, you know, as far as the filmography part of it, I wish for a bit more. So that's my brief synopsis so far.
What about it, Carrie?
Okay, so besides the fact that I love Cooper and his acting anyways, I was a fan of the way it kept shooting between the werewolf's sight and the human sight. I loved that. Let's see. Like Grim was saying, the gore and the way the blood was.
The perspective of the werewolf,
Yes, I loved that. And I really liked how throughout the movie, like, the werewolf, you're kind of learning more and more about it throughout, just in its actions, and it's like, it's not getting smarter throughout, it's been smart the whole time, but you're learning more of its smartness, and I really like that, how the plot kind of develops, and the movie jumps into action automatically, but there's still so much to develop. Normally when a movie jumps straight into action, there's not much left to develop. So I liked that even though it jumped right into it, it still developed along the way.
Yes. Yes.
And Evan, of course, you have seen this movie. You reference this movie to us to give the audience just a brief summary of what you like the most about this movie.
All right, so I can rant and rave about this movie all day long. When it comes to like werewolves and the psychology in which that this movie like carries their way of thinking, this movie is A+ to me. This is the one that demonstrates the most realistically what if you turned into a werewolf, what you would think like, what you would move like, how you would behave. Like these guys, the ones that just turned, the soldiers that end up turning in it, they remember things that just happened, but a lot of their like long-term memories are gone. So they know like who the people are, they recognize faces, but they can't exactly like make a plan as much.
Because they're more primal.
Yeah, they're very much back to their primal states, but they retain very little information about what just happened. The way that the werewolves hunt as a pack and the way that they're able to sit there and span out and hide in the tree line so that there's no clear line of sight, the little moves they're able to make here and there in order to get inside the house, the way they attack, the way they separate the group, this is werewolves at its finest.
The people's weaknesses and when they're alone.
Yeah, they got them all into their own house, knew the layout. They knew how to sequester one person away from the rest of them. When they had them alone, they definitely made the best of their shot. The kills are beautiful, the way they're just munching on heads and chucking them at trucks and stuff like that.
Yes.
They tore up the truck when they first get to the house, so that way you know that these werewolves are thinking.
They were stealthy about it.
Yeah, they just go in there and tear it up. They make sure you have no way out. It's just everything that you would want in a werewolf movie is in this little low-budget werewolf movie.
Yes.
Okay, so it was directed by Neil Marshall, and you might, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure you've seen his other movies, some of his other movies. He did The Descent, which is a great movie.
Oh,
The Descent is beautiful.
I like The Descent.
He also did the most recent remake of Hellboy, which was not as good.
It is Hellboy. It wasn't that good.
But he just recently released a movie called The Lair that I've seen some trailers for that actually looks pretty interesting. So I wanted to check that out. But To me, the pros and cons of this movie, I've never been a big fan of werewolf movies. I have a lot of respect for the way this did werewolves, because it was more like, okay, who fucking cares what the fucking rules are, or who cares who was bitten and who turned, like it's fucking just werewolves coming after you. I don't like my movies to be too explanatory, because it removes you from the personal experience of being with other people that don't know. So, like, the more somebody knows about a monster, the less scary a monster is. And they started off there,
it's
but they started
slam bang action.
Yeah. But they started trying to shoehorn more lineage to it as it got toward the end of the movie. And I think that
enveloping.
Yeah, but I think that the movie
unfolding.
could actually cut 20 minutes of that shit out.
Yes.
And leave it as just let people think of it. Let them infer these ideas. Because a lot of the exposition, there was a bit of exposition where you could tell he felt like he hadn't sold that story enough. So toward the end, when it's like her and him there, and she's like, this is exactly what's going on. And he's like, now I know exactly what went on. A lot of, when you see that in filmmaking, it's like the filmmaker almost like going like, they're fucking dumb. I need to infer the information. So you do exposition or deposition.
Yeah, I can see how it was unnecessary, but at the same time, I was glad for it. I wanted to see her giving that. Like,
And-
Yes.
I liked that.
My other gripe about it is, of course, like color coordinating it and having more. It was very murky. It works really well for this movie, but it's still so fucking murky in some of the shots. It's really hard to say, like, to tell what's going on.
On the outside, yes, I wanted to see more of the detail on the outside, but as far as in the house, I got to see a lot of how they had prepared and set design. Like, all of that. I like
Well,
that.
one of the things that you enjoy the most about it, how the werewolves like tactically move, well, how the soldiers tactically move was also like very orchestrated, because his whole family is and have been in wars and in battles, and he had them with him setting up and saying, this is what they should do, and this makes it more like real soldiers. And he wanted to pay really close attention to making sure that all that stuff was done a very specific kind of way. The fact that he casted dancers as the werewolves, because he wanted the werewolves to have like a certain kind of grace to them. And I always see that scene where the werewolf is standing up in the room is very reminiscent of an Alien scene.
As far as the
movie with
view of
aliens, with
this,
alien
okay.
rising up.
So it says that the transfer used on U.S. edition was not great. It was dark and grainy. That's what we watched, I'm sure. And unlike the German version, it was a very crisp image.
Well,
So
what they
maybe
did,
the other one.
the version
looked a
that
lot
I
better.
watched when I first saw it had a whole bunch of that not in it, because it was the sci-fi version. They
Okay.
went back and released it on DVD and added a whole bunch more gore, but kind of weighed out what they had, because another scene that they cut was that when Spoon is eaten by the werewolf, the scene actually was filmed where the two werewolves, one is holding him from the top and the other one attacks him from the bottom, and they tear him in half.
Clean in half.
Yeah.
It's a really good scene if you can ever watch it.
And they went with that one because it was the director was like, I did it, but I think it would be too traumatizing, because he was like the comedy relief of the film, and he didn't want to traumatize the audience. But he said he came up with a line of like, I hope I give you the shits.
Yeah.
Right before it ate
The
him.
only part of this movie that I hated was, I don't know, for some reason the dead bodies like at the end that were hanging, I just really hated the look of them. They sucked.
The
That's
dead
really
bodies.
the only thing.
The dead bodies.
No.
This is such a fucking kick-ass wraparound.
I hate you for that,
The
They're
man.
dead bodies
I
at the
hate
end of this movie actually were fucking used for Event Horizon.
Fuck
That's
that
fucking
movie.
so
Fuck
funny.
those dead bodies. This movie was great besides that. My only tip to whoever the fuck directed this is, why'd you have to add that in? Like, it was great until then.
The director also put literally tons of references. One of the characters' names is Bruce Campbell. They call him Bruce through the whole thing, and one time they say Officer Campbell.
I'm gonna leave the room.
There's There are so many
No.
references throughout this whole movie to
Why?
other horror movies.
I'm not here anymore.
No, Bruce Campbell's not
Funny
Event
how-
Horizon. Bruce Campbell is Ash from Armies of Darkness. That's mad props. to that.
Okay, well that's fine.
Good.
Despite
But
he's hiding me, because fuck Event
Almost
Horizon.
there are so many in there that the director even was like, I kind of like went a little heavy on the Easter eggs. Like even he said so. Because he said he's a big fan of horror movies, and it's just chock full of other references
I do like
to horror
when movies
movies.
references others, but not Event Horizon. So.
Yeah. Favorite movie of all time. But
But
besides
no,
that, this
it
was a great movie.
It was gory. It was bloody. There was a high body count.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that the dog survived. Well, one of them.
The one on all fours dog made it all the
Little-
way.
Little
And-
sheepdog.
Matt
Another.
had even pointed out about the blood, the way it was pooling
Yeah,
out.
how it just
Oh,
like
yeah.
poured. The blood
That-
was just
that was
pouring.
cool.
Yes.
Apparently, Simon Pegg was originally going to be the lead role in this movie, but he
Well,
turned
I'm
it down.
glad he did, because Owen did better.
Yeah, Simon Pegg was originally going to be that role, like the lead role, and it would have went in a completely different
And
direction.
it worked out having Owen Hunt.
Yeah, I really like too the way that the werewolves look in this. They didn't like make every portion of the body like super huge. Like I love the Van Helsing
Yes.
werewolves.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
as far as CGI werewolves go, number one in my opinion. But they bulk out like the entire body, and that doesn't make too much sense because they're supposed to be taller and slender. Like wolves aren't fat and beefy. They're made for speed. They're made for agility. They're not gonna actually fight. They're just gonna come in and get the kill and scavenge what they can. So these guys being made, like the upper bodies were still kind of like a little beefy in the chest.
but then it had that divot.
Yeah, it had the divot
yeah.
in where the abs would be. Like the head was stretched to the right size, to the right proportions, and it's just, it's a very good looking werewolf if you know what a werewolf is supposed to actually look like.
And I actually like how this director was able to sort of obfuscate some of the werewolf stuff, because like one of the big scenes that stood out to me is when he's upstairs and the werewolf reaches through the windows and grabs him. Is right before the werewolf does it, he turns around and the blinds drop, and then the werewolf grabs him. And it was because since the werewolf was coming forward, its face would be behind the blinds,
Yep.
because it probably doesn't do good on smashing into somebody's back. It probably was like rolling up the face a little bit.
Yeah.
So they were like, we have to cover it up because it's going to look like a mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
They played it very smart.
But there's a lot of those shots throughout the movie where you can see either they kind of digitally, they had it pulled back with a little bit of movement, and then they zoomed in and gave it greater movement to kind of blur out anywhere that the effects looked too hokey.
Yes, but
So
I did
instead
like when you
of-
could see the full body.
Instead of like adding CG to it, they made it a little bit more murky and pulled in for a closer shot, because there's just barely a little bit of CG used in this movie, and they say a lot of the CG was like the blood.
Yeah.
Like the flowing blood that I was
Which is
talking
good.
about.
Yeah.
But I still liked it. I thought because of the way it was so murky, it worked well in this movie.
Did you already mention the dancers?
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to see if I have anything like other in the scene where the guy's supposed to knock the dude out.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally they filmed that scene, and exactly what happens is exactly what happened. Like the first hit, he fake swung at him and he didn't hit him, and he did a reaction shot. And the second shot, he literally punched him in the fucking head because he leaned in. Like it was kind of spitballing that scene. He literally punched the shit
You know,
out
that's
of him.
funny, because there was actually a couple scenes in Grey's Anatomy that were like that.
Really?
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious.
Owen Hunt was a badass in it, too. I'm
And
not
they-
going to stop talking about this.
They also had a werewolf climbing a rope in this movie.
Yeah.
If you like blink, you
Yes.
miss it. The werewolf was climbing the rope, which means that as
Mm-hmm.
a human, he would know how to climb a rope.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that little bit of the psychology that is often missed. But the motherfucker was climbing a rope to the
Yes.
second floor. Like,
Just throughout the movie, more and more like human-like things they're doing, like turning
Yeah.
the lights off even.
they didn't just blast the first door open either. The first clip is the handle like slowly turning, so
Uh-huh.
they remembered how to
Yeah.
open doors. It's
One
just,
of my
little
favorite
things.
scenes was when one of the werewolves reached in, grabbed the gun, shot it, and then threw it back in.
Yeah,
It was like,
throws it
what
back
the
in.
fuck?
Fucking
Okay.
close back. I was like, hey, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Take it back, I
He
don't need it.
remembers how to do it, shoots inward, tosses it like, yeah, good fucking luck with that. You're not
Yeah.
going to kill us. And he just walks off like a badass. badass into the night.
Apparently, the scene where the girl comes out and puts her hand on the glass and the glass cuts her hand, that the relevance of that, of course, later on they kind of used it to kind of reveal her being a werewolf. But he was originally going to use that as the pinging point of having her DNA to have Dog Soldiers Part 2, which was more about werewolf DNA. And that scene where she pricked her hand on that glass was going to be the piece that they used to...
Oh, it'd be cool if
make
they
the
picked
second
it up
movie.
in the future,
Yeah.
something.
But
As
he
long
says
as no
now
one's in it.
it's probably never going to go anywhere because he did, The Descent and did really well, and now he's doing other horror movies. So.
Maybe somebody will pick it up and make something out of it.
And that reveal, too, when she's sitting there and she's like, you call them a bitch, but I'm the real thing. I just unlock the door, and then the wolf just comes right out from
love
behind
that
her.
rise
It's just,
up, or
it's
it
beautiful.
was good. And her face, I liked her face, like the way they did everything like that.
Beautiful.
All practical effects, just everything.
Yeah, that was actually Christine from the Phantom of the Opera. I'm just kidding, guys. It really wasn't.
You're an idiot. Apparently, what he says is that he wrote this movie in a knee-jerk reaction to American Werewolf in London because he thought it was a piece of shit. He thought John Landis was not good director, and he said, I'm going to make this better movie. And I wouldn't say that this movie is better than American Werewolf in London, but I would say for a horror movie, it's more on the nose for a horror movie of werewolf. Whereas American Werewolf in London was like, it's the one that set the standard of what a werewolf was.
Yeah.
Like, that set all the rules for werewolves, like, in that movie. But yeah, Dog Soldiers. So, anything else you guys want to throw in about it?
The term Dog Soldier, it came from the most powerful and militant of the Cheyenne tribes in the 6 military societies. They were the members of the war societies of the Cheyenne.
Nice.
They were called Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers.
Yes.
I knew what ground soldiers were, but I didn't know about dog soldiers, so that's cool.
You
And it
that
came
dog
into
soldier.
prominence during the Indian resistance against American explosionism in the mid-1800s.
Interesting.
Yep. There you go.
And anybody else? Anything else y'all want to say about the old Dog Soldiers? I say personally, I would recommend everybody to watch Dog Soldiers at least once because it is a fucking hell of a werewolf movie.
I would have liked
I
to
agree.
hear like more howling and stuff, like actual like.
Well, I think they kind of backed that off because it was a little bit too... Okay, here's a fun fact about dogs in the wild. Dogs that we own as human beings will howl. But howling is literally only a thing that puppies do in the wild. Dogs would never howl in the wild because it would leave them
Keep them
open to
away.
predators. So, like, howling is literally just a house dog thing. If our dogs grew up in the wild, they would not be howling like that. And, like, coyotes and shit, howling is more of a calling to each other in order to locate prey.
Yeah.
Again, it wouldn't serve any purpose for one dog to howl, so they kind of.
Well, I
grow
stand
out
by
of
what I said. That's a hill I'll die on. I wanted more howling.
I
that.
like the
That's a hill I
sound
die on.
effects of the wolves, though, like if they got hit or anything.
It was so
Like
different.
the sound effects, yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
gun, the guns also had a sort of a firing into a hollow, like a water barrel,
Yeah.
and it was like that woof, woof, woof.
It was
So
very bass heavy.
Yeah, it was very bass
Yeah.
heavy. So you had those real big fucking impacts that are like whoom, whoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a super fucking fun film.
10
Thank
out
you
of
for the
10.
suggestion.
Good werewolf movement. Good everything.
Yeah.
It was the best they could do in this.
I
job.
do.
I
I do.
liked-
Again,
I
like
liked it.
he's talking about the whole like werewolf going up
The
the
fingers
the
were nice.
rope, and when the werewolf was kind of like in the window there beforehand. There are so many shots that are like, oh, that looks so good, but then there's other things where it's like, oh man, there's nothing you can do to make a graceful werewolf like do that movement and it
Yes.
not come off as like, oh, that.
Yeah.
Like a werewolf kind of in the window, like, hey, I'm just like,
What's up, dog?
like that's a little bit too much for me. Like if they would have just had the one standing there and done that, but to me, honestly, that scene looked like something like out of like the Muppets, because you had like one full size Muppet, and then you had a hand Muppet in the window there next to it. But then again, that scene is like one of the coolest scenes because they had the full size werewolf, and that's the first time you see it, and it looks so good. But the werewolf in the fucking window looks ridiculous.
I think if they did like another part, or I don't really want a remake. I would like a pick up on this shit where it's bigger budget. They can spend it on better suits where it's.
It'd be badass to see this in like high resolution.
Yes.
And like one of the things, like you see so many movies, you see Predator in this, you see American Werewolf in this, you see there's a whole bunch of homages to other horror movies, and The Descent is the exact same way. So I'm guessing this guy's very heavy about like going into other horror movies that he likes and using them as a way to kind of move it forward. But he could go in any direction with that shit because it's, you just kind of follow that modus operandum of regular horror movies. But yeah, fucking good flick. Good,
good choice.
Good choice.
Yes.
Good choice.
Very, very happy.
When this comes
Way to
out,
go,
of
Evan.
course, you will be gone. So technically,
Damn, you
just
said gone like he's gonna be dead.
you're gonna be dead. No,
Kara's probably gonna kill you.
just as in like speech, this is technically us saying goodbye because you're gone at this point. So thank you for. We had a great weekend with Evan. We've got a whole
We're
bunch of
sad
shit
and we
done.
miss you.
We can't wait for you
Aw.
guys to see all the stuff that we did with him.
We'll see you again one day.
So yeah,
I'm sure Bebe misses you too.
yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming down. Thanks for hanging out, and
Thank
thanks
you guys
for helping
having
us
me. I
make stuff.
appreciate it a lot.
I
It's
hope you
been a
get really
blast.
far in life with ROTN or whatever the fuck that is.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
But yeah, so have a good morning and stay rotten, guys.
Yes,
Stay
stay
rotten.
rotten. I'll be on a plane to Canada Sunday.
Wow.
What does that mean?
It means what I said.
It's Monday though.
Oh, I mean Monday.